Alright, today I'm gonna talk about someone who is really important to all of the community. He started playing Team Fortress 2 back in 2007 when it was launched. Not on PC though, he started playing it on the Orange Box and the PS3. With only 2 Fart and Dust Bowl. It was an amazing game at the time for console, and it stayed with him to this day. He spent hours on end playing out on his PS3 while running a YouTube music video on his little laptop. It was amazing in its design. That was what he thought. Teamwork was his main goal of the game, and a lot of players seem to have shared that same thing. Hats didn't exist. All of these unlockable and craftable weapons didn't either. Pure vanilla weaponry. It encouraged players to play smart. It's something that our guest still believes, that vanilla weapons encourage skill over hoping an unlock will perform better than anything else. In 2012, he got a good laptop and started his journey into PC TF2 after 5,000 hours in a console, thanks to the encouragement of his boyfriend at the time. That boyfriend got him into playing heavy, while he was the pocket medic. They were a team that was to be reckoned with. They managed to pull off 34 to 40 kill streaks on community servers against skilled players. It was amazing having that fun. Then, there was a breaking point for them. He moved into comp at that September, during Season 8. He joined a silver team with some friends he made along the way. However, his boyfriend didn't like the fact he was getting involved in TF2 that way, and gave him an ultimatum halfway through the season. They had one game left before playoffs started. He knew they weren't going to make it in with their 1-6 win-loss ratio. So he left Team Fortress 2 comp for the last part of the season, but in the end, his boyfriend still left him. In November, he started to learn Spy more, since he was fascinated by it a lot. That's how he found Mr. Paladin's channel. He wanted to meet him, but he thought he would be swarmed with people from his YouTube channel. So he joined his community group and joined a game of his own. He ended up on film showing his skill, his teamwork, and showing the player who was worth knowing. Eventually he added him, and he kept him around, and they did a video together. On January the 1st, 2013, he started his own channel, and not far after, he did his first dual footage with Mr. Paladin. He helped him through the phases faster than he could have learned for getting a channel going himself. Also, Paladin taught him a lot of how to play Spy, and for 2013 until summer, he learned everything he could about Spy, from playstyles to weapon choices. That summer, before he quit, Paladin gave my guest his Hale's own knife, which he still holds dear. Well, today's guest left shortly after, because he had lost a comrade he respected. When Paladin came back, my guest was still gone. He returned again at September that year, once again with the spirit to play in Highlander, as a spy on a silver team. They welcomed him in and thought he was a good starter line spy for them. They lost that season, but returned the next, this time with my guest as scout, because of his hit scan aim. He left the team 3 games in, because the rest of the team didn't seem to want to practice, except for 4 of them. He kept those people on his friends list to this day. They are still there, and he loves talking with them, even though they don't play TF2 anymore. They still like to talk about life. That left him somewhere in improving his channel and self, and joining more competitive teams. He chose to improve himself and his channel. That's why you see it so improved today. 2014, he went back to competitive in September as an engineer for a steel team to show his worth. He was welcomed, but old problems arose, as well as lack of practice, so he moved to his current team, Animal House. He was taken in and welcomed as the engineer, was praised on his skill and knowledge, and treated like one of the leaders of the team. Then life hit him with appendicitis. He was in the hospital for a bit. Well, there he thought about what he had done in life and what he was doing. It was a hard choice to make, but he decided to sit back and become a sub for the team, and change his main from all these years into Pyro, a class he loved to play, but he wasn't amazing at it. It was something he enjoyed at the start, but it still didn't feel right to play. Then he thought of playing demo after subbing for it in a game with his team in a match on Goliath. He thought he did terrible, but the heavy encouraged him to continue to learn, because his skill aiming pipes. His sticky aim wasn't the best at the time, but it's been improving. And that brings him to today. He wasn't having fun much anymore on public servers, so Mr. Paladin thought it was finally time to pull the trigger on the project of getting Team Play First revived. It had the ideals he was looking for, and was the reason for keeping him from leaving Team Fortress 2 permanently. A lot of his Team Fortress 2 career on PC has been due to Aces gamers, Mr. Paladin, YouTube, Highlander, and TPF. He'd like to thank everyone who watched this video, and the friends who have stuck with him, and those who are letting him coach them for Highlander Team Fortress 2. Today's guest, Mr.Spirit.
Hello, fellow TPF ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's episode of Stories of TPF. Today's guest is Mr.Spirit. Thank you for joining me for this interview today.
You're quite welcome.
All right, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, well, first off, not everyone knows it, so I'm just going to ask, what country are you from?
I am from Canada, the upper half of North America.
Alrighty, next question is going to be, what school did you go to, and what profession you working in?
I went to the Academy of Learning, a private college, and I majored in web and graphic design and business, and I had to take a minor in English just so everything was perfect and clear cut.
All right. At the moment, I guess your main class is Medic, thanks to the month of Medic. But what class do you usually default to the most?
My biggest main is Demo Man, but you're correct for August. It is the month of the Medic, and everything on the channel is Medic. But otherwise, it's Demo Man. But I do like to play the other classes on the side to show off what they can do.
Right. What are your main subclasses then? Like, if you say you don't go Demo Man, but you might choose between every other class because there's no overstack, what would you default to?
Usually I end up going with a soldier or a scout because I am prone to play sixes classes.
Right, makes sense. Right, let's get to some more person-specific questions about considering TPF. For example, there have been multiple problems recently that need to be solved. For example, there have been a few arguments over, you know what I'm talking about. Do you think that this is something that we as a community can solve without really cutting off limbs? Or do you think...
Some problems are possible through negotiation and just letting it go. Just forget it. It never happened. It's just gone. But then there are other problems that are persistent, and that's when we need to start looking into it. It starts out as a cold, develops into an pneumonia, and ends up becoming a full-blown disease that we have no clue what it really is. And that's where we need to have it completely stop before we reach amputation.
Right. But Do you think? Would you agree on that? Like with most diseases, prophylaxis is the thing that we have to do. Like stop it before it can spread by leading people on the right way.
Yes, if we give our guidance and have people step in and be the negotiators that say, okay, stop, and just be rational, let it go, just step away. Sometimes it may be good just to step out and mumble or away from your computer for a few minutes, and that there would be our basic just medicine to deal with it. But if no one wants to step up and be those mediators, we don't have that application to stop these fights, and they'll just escalate until we start tearing each other apart.
I completely agree with you on that. So next question would be, what is a true TPF player to you? Is it only the mindset within the game that counts, or is personality also a deciding factor?
For me, a true TPF player is the mindset that we have set as a group, but also carrying those ideals into your real life of being honorable, being loyal, and being there to do your hardest. That's how I grew up, and that's how I was raised. We weren't rich, we weren't poor, but we had to work to get what we wanted. I started a paper route when I was little, and that's how I paid to get my stuff. My brother did the same thing. My father did the same thing. Everyone in our family has always worked hard, and we've been loyal to our family and our friends.
Loyalty is one of the most important things that as a group you should have. All right. Are there any regulars that in your eyes you would consider to be real TPF? Not necessarily from skill, but from trying the hardest to fit the ideals. Any pillars of the community you want to shout out to?
Big people I find would definitely be Puppy with his being there for the team when the team needs him in his spy skills. Polly with his leadership of starting a Highlander group and wanting me to help coach and train these people as well coming into the group. And a few people here or there who are just there to play on the server to help people and to help the team. There'd be too many for me to name that have been added to my friends list, but a lot of them are really good and they are well worth playing with, and I gladly call them comrades in arms.
All right, you heard it, everyone. Even those that Spirit just didn't name, I think you do know if you're meant. What I found out when we first started to chat with each other, you're quite the, I don't know, poetic, philosophic type. I mean, you did immediately understand why the Black Rose is important to me when I only started to explain it. So I would be interested in two things. What symbol would you describe yourself with, and what symbol would you take to describe TPF?
For me, I choose a flame because it represents destruction and rebirth. Whenever a field is wiped through flame, the ashes allow the plants to regrow. And when a building is destroyed in flame, it is kept down permanently. It's a force that gives life and takes life. It is a power that none of us can fully understand, but yet we know how to create it and control it. And for TPF, I'd say it would be a sun or some star that we're not there yet, but we can reach it at some point, and every one of us can be among those stars around it as well.
All right. What made you have the idea of having a poker scout, by the way? Because I thought it was pretty interesting that you also chose to make a poker team, just like I did with my spy.
The poker scout sort of comes from, I like the Fighting Fed fedora for scout, which is your old school gangsters. And when I think gangsters, I think poker rings like that. And so it sort of stuck with me that hey, the scout could be an underground poker player. He's dealt with the gangs before. He's got weapons named after famous gangsters as well. Babyface being the big one. And then you've got the Bruiser's Bandana, which gives you the theme of you could be a Wild West bandito, you could be a gangster trying to cover yourself in modern time, you could be a street thug. Who knows what's actually underneath that mask? And then adding the courtier's collar, I really like scarves, and I thought it fit the theme pretty nice with, hey, you're on the run, and you might as well, while you're hiding on the streets, look like you are from the streets.
All right, sounds awesome, really. Next question would be, what is your worst class? I mean, and why doesn't it fit your style all that well? So why don't you roll with it that much? Or is there even a worst class for you?
In terms of aim, Sniper's pretty much my worst class, but I know his full operation. In terms of play style, would definitely be Medic, because I'm usually the aggressive type that knows how to deal with my situations up front and personal, such as taking out sentries, dealing with players, dealing with Ubers. So a Medic isn't my forte, being in the background making the plans. As engineer, I was able to be both front and back making plans. But as medic, I'm trying to keep myself up and make plans while I'm trusting people to do what I would normally do. So it sort of says, no, you can't play that style as aggressive as you want to be to do the stuff that the team needs to be done.
All right, makes it even more impressive that you chose to do a month of the medic in order to honor all physicians, all nurses around the globe. Like, seriously, when I saw that video of yours, my respect for you went up even more, even though, well, you are a really respectable person, in especially as a human, especially because, for example, this. Then you're poetic and philosophic in a way. I don't know. You're like one of the coolest guys I've met so far in TPF. Gotta say. Well, next question. I think some of your fans might be asking you this, kinda, and they might be asking it themselves. But all in all, do you accept friend requests? I mean, I know the answers. The answer. Some don't. So, go ahead.
I get so many friends requests that I come home from work, I've got about 20 or 30 friends requests, and I really can't accept all of them because a lot of them are low-level players that could easily be bots, scammers, fishers because of my trading. On top of it, I usually like to keep skilled players, but they don't have to be pure platinum competitive level players. They're players that I like to see play the objective, work for the team, and just treat me as I'm a person, not as I'm this big famous YouTuber. Just a human being. That's all I am. I'm nothing special. I make mistakes, I do stuff, I get angry, I cry. I'm a human. There's nothing different about me. But when it comes to these friends requests, just, oh, I'm in Mr. Paladin's Steam group, I'm gonna add you. It's just, no. I'm sorry, but I probably haven't played with you, so I don't know what you play like. Usually it takes me 2 or 3 times playing with you before I even send you a friend request, because I need to know that you're actually playing for the team instead of just acting for me to try and get on my friends list. And even then, people who I do put on who become an annoyance, such as every single day asking me the same thing: when's the next video, what's your next video, can I be in a video. It's, you're gone immediately. You get that one chance, but I usually add you instead of you adding me. By watching you play and seeing that you're working for the team and not hunting me down specifically and then get killed afterwards every single time.
Like there was a sniper that was
Yeah.
waiting for you in the base and then body shotting you, and then I killed Spirit.
Yeah, those people, it's just like, sure, you killed me. I'm just another player. What's the difference between shooting me and the guy next to me? It's the same thing. We're both human.
Exactly this. All right, I think this about sums up today's interview. Thanks again for taking your precious time for me.
You're quite welcome.
All right, everyone, if you want your own story to be told in a later episode, feel free to send it to fenrirspyfang@gmail.com. Also, feel free to add your Steam profile link so that I can contact you with more ease. Like if you did, subscribe to get to know the community more, and share among other TPF members so that we have the chance to become even more of a community. Have an awesome day, everyone, and see you soon.